Oh, I have George Lopez Tacos news, but first, late night, Marjorie Taylor Greene apologized for comments comparing pandemic restrictions to the Holocaust. Trevor Noah went all in. He called Greene your Georgia Congresswoman and your crazy aunt's even crazier friend. I mean, for real, though, are we going to get a press conference every time Marjorie Taylor Greene learns about something? Because she doesn't know a lot about a lot of things. Since her shocking rise from QAnon forums to the House of Representatives, Greene has become notorious for her willingness to say absolutely anything with zero shame, whether it's conspiracies about 9/11 or the existence of Jewish space lasers, which is ridiculous. I mean, everybody knows the Jewish space laser was taken out by the Buddha submarine missile years ago. Trevor, yo guys, America isn't serious, man. This woman writes the laws that govern the land, and she's out here like, hey, you guys heard about this Holocaust? But I will say, in some ways, I feel bad for this lady. Learning things is tough, because it forces you to take back all the ignorant crap you've said in the past. It's why the only museum I go to is Madame Tussauds. Madame Tussauds, come stupid, leave stupid. Kimmel, yeah, but she's here to finally set the record straight. It did happen, and it was bad. Kimmel, it's amazing what a little education can do. She now knows as much about the Holocaust as every sixth grader in Washington, D.C. Quick, build a climate change museum, too. That's great, Kimmel. The important thing here is that Marjorie Taylor Greene said she's sorry, and she is sorry. She might be the sorriest excuse for a congresswoman we've ever had. Next, she's planning a visit to the National Air and Jewish Space Laser Museum. Great job. Kimmel also observed that for Donald Trump's 75th birthday, a party was put on in which Donald Trump Jr. posted a video. Kimmel said, "What a party. All the best people are there, although I couldn't help but notice his wife wasn't." Variety has a big piece about Trevor Noah under the headline, "Trevor Noah on Tackling Diverse Topics. If we can't have the conversation, who can?" The Daily Show with Trevor Noah has gained a reputation for addressing sensitive political topics and then incorporating those discussions with elements of comedy. Noah compared this to juggling little bombs that could explode any moment, but he feels he has a responsibility to talk about topics that others are afraid to approach. Trevor said, "If we're afraid to have this conversation, how much more afraid are people on the streets, people in an office, people at a school? They're terrified of having this conversation. They're thinking like, do we get fired? Do we get slandered? Do we get beaten up? So if we can't have the conversation, then who can?" A lot of the time what people say to me affects me. It'll hurt my feelings, especially when I feel like people don't give me a fair shot, because I feel like I give people a fair shot. I've had Republicans on my show, and I'm not just slinging things at them. I'm just not cussing them out. I'll talk to anyone. I'll give anybody a fair shot. Trevor's staff includes Republicans. Trevor said this tends to shock many people, but he wants to have honest conversations with people on both ends of the political spectrum, saying, "I don't want to live in a bubble of not knowing what anyone thinks. I also don't want to live in a world where I cannot disagree with somebody who I still see as a human being and even as a friend." Arsenio Hall was on a panel with Trevor Noah and said that Trevor is caught between a rock and a hard place as an African host who was not born in America. Trevor responded, "Black people are black people and have endured one shared experience since birth. As broad as black people are, unfortunately, there was one experience that has connected black people, and that has been oppression. I might not be from Philly, but when we talk about police, we all talk the same language. When you're black, race is always at the front. You don't get to opt out." Trevor added that Dave Chappelle played a major role in helping him find his voice. Chappelle once told Trevor that you must never take for granted what you have to say. Anybody can be funny, anybody can tell a joke, but not everybody has something to say. I want you to not run away from what you have to say. I know it's scary, but don't run away from it. Now, I found this interesting. The last episode of the socially distanced Daily Show is tonight. The Daily Show's going on a summer hiatus and won't return until September 13th. That's 3 months off. Trevor teased a brand new look and feel and says he has a few surprises in store from when he and his team finally return to the studio. He said, "As for going back to the studio, I have a few surprises as to what it will look like. I'm working on a few things with the team and really excited because I want it to be intentional." People always say, "When are you going back?" I'm never going back. I'm only moving forward. Very interesting, but a 3-month break? Comedy Central can't be excited about a 3-month break. Speaking of Dave Chappelle, from the laugh button quoting the Dayton Daily News, it sounds as if Chappelle is not moving forward with Camp Chappelle, and it sounds like that was the plan all along. You may recall during the pandemic, Dave Chappelle did some outdoor shows. Well, the zoning inspector for the township said the justification for the permit hinged on compensating for pandemic-induced problems. The request is worded such that performances are no longer permitted when traditional venues are available. The article says the stipulation was brought on by Chappelle, it sounds like. Once venues began opening up, Chappelle stated at the time he would not need to use the space in the same way, and the space is zoned for agriculture and not a live performance space. The guy from the township said, "Our comprehensive plan indicates that we would like to maintain the agricultural rural nature of the township. Consequently, very few commercial activities outside of agriculture are permitted." That all makes sense to me. No problem with that. From the Long Island Herald, the parking lot at Angelo's Pizzeria on Hempstead Avenue in Malvern was filled with the TV production crew. Amy Schumer was there, the real Amy Schumer, not the imposter from the truck stop. Actual Amy Schumer spent much of the day shooting a scene for her upcoming Hulu series, Life and Beth. The LI Herald says streets were blocked off. Police cars surrounded the pizzeria as the filming took place. Local Facebook group pages were buzzing throughout the day as word about Amy Schumer had quickly spread in the village. Sounds like a big day there. From The Hollywood Reporter, William Zabka defended Marc Maron against criticism Marc Maron was getting over an interview he did with the star of Cobra Kai, William Zabka. During an hour-long chat on Marc Maron's podcast, Marc Maron admitted he did not see all of The Karate Kid, only some snippets, but he had been watching Cobra Kai. Zabka did not seem to mind, and the admission did not impact their thoughtful chat, writes The Hollywood Reporter. However, Maron was taken to task on Twitter because people have way too much free time, and this comes to you from someone who looks up George Lopez Tacos 3 times a day. Y'all have way too much free time, but the Twitterati said it was rude to not watch the film before the interview or to straight up tell Zabka he had not seen the work. Zabka shut this down. He said, "For the record, this was one of the most in-depth and enjoyable talks I've had, and Mark couldn't have been more gracious or respectful. #out. Alrighty, let's see what's going on with George Lopez Tacos. Y'all had some homework. You were going to try and price out some George Lopez Tacos. In my area, I was unable to order them. Heard from Scott Beckett. Not sure if I should give out everyone's location. Scott's in one of those cold cities in the center of the United States. He said, the scoop from Minneapolis, not available in your area. Lane Spurkis is from one of those Cajun cities down in the south near a big river. Yeah, I'm not giving away anyone's location. Way to keep it secret, Johnny Mac. He said it's not available there either. But Lori Terrell White came through. She's got prices. Churro Bites, $7. Bottled water, $4. Mexican Coke, $4. Nothing outrageous yet. This isn't bad, George Lopez Tacos. Chips and guacamole, $8. A little pricey. Chips with salsa, $6. You know, I could do that for like $2 at Chipotle, George Lopez Tacos. A combo, which looks like 3 corn tortilla tacos, is $21. The family style La Gran Reunion, I pronounced that terribly, is $90. $90? $90? Lori gave me a link here for, place you would order food mobily / George Lopez Tacos. Let me go to that link and see if I can find out more. Oh, yes, this link does work. Thank you, Lori. So we can get La Mas Cabrona, $14, described as even better-ass tacos with slow-cooked shredded protein of your choice, fire-roasted peppers and onions, fresh diced onion and cilantro, salsa verde, avocado crema, pickled onions, roasted jalapenos. This looks pretty good. Does it look like enough food for $14? You know, it's like stadium prices. Like if the Mets served me that for $14, I'd be like, okay. Now, La Gran Fiesta, enough tacos for everyone, says George Lopez Tacos, $64. La Gran Reunion, as we talked about, is $90. Chips and guac for $8. Seems a little high, no? I'm going on Chipotle right now. I got the app on my phone. I've been known to order from Chipotle. Let's see, Chipotle, chips and guac, $4.20. Large chips and large guac, I'm going to assume George Lopez Tacos gives you a lot. If I were to go to Chipotle, $6.70 versus $8 for George Lopez version of that. Chips and salsas, $2.25 versus $6 at George Lopez Tacos. George Lopez Tacos, I don't know about your price points here. I'm sure it is deluxe gourmet food made by the finest random chefs using somebody else's kitchen, as we talked about yesterday, the day before. Thank you, Lori. I wish I had more of a bit. I don't. That's it. George Lopez Tacos. But how about this from The Independent? Fact checkers are frantically debunking a parody video after a comedian claiming to be a Texas power grid official asks citizens to choose between AC or AOC. Blair Erskine did this put on. She said, "You know, we got a hot little grid out there and we got to take care of it or it's gonna bust. I mean, would you rather have AC or would you rather have AOC? Think about that for a little bit and it'll start to make sense." She posted this to Twitter. People lost their mind. One person said, "This is their spokesperson?" Another said, "How about connecting Texas to the national power grid so we can get away from idiots like this person from ERCOT?" ERCOT is the Texas Power Authority something. ERCOT had issued a real-life conservation alert. Texans have been asked to safely reduce their electric use. In the video, Blair Erskine said, "So we're just asking the people of Texas to make small sacrifices, just little sacrifices, no blood or anything like that, because Texas is set up on a power grid. And what the power grid does, what a power grid is, well, something different to everybody. And that's what you got to understand." That is your Daily Common News for today. Thanks to everybody for helping me out with George Lopez Tacos. Follow the show on Spotify. What's the other one? Apple Podcasts. Ugh. You think I could remember that? Google Podcasts. I'm leaving. Bye.